Hey Alexa.
Yes, Mark?
How do I outdress Emmanuel Acho?
You can try getting a new suit, new shoes, and new style, but it will never happen.
Hey Alexa. How do I get as buff as Emmanuel Acho?
I guess you could try taking steroids.
Vegetables. Verdura. Fruit. Fruta. That was easy. Hey Alexa. How do I get as smart as Emmanuel Acho?
Ha 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 ha. No chance, dummy.
Come on. Hey Alexa. How come Emmanuel Acho is so cool?
Maybe because he's friends with Matthew McConaughey.
McConaughey. Oh, Sanchez drops back to pass. Has an open receiver streaking. Looks like it's tight end Dustin Keller, number 81, in the end zone. Touchdown, Jets! Nice. Hey, Alexa. How can I get Emmanuel Acho on my podcast?
Call Emmanuel.
Dude, seriously? You have no idea how much this means to me. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're ready to go. Thank you. Bye. Yes.
Mark, who do we have on the show today?
Just this former teammate of mine, because training camp's starting, so we can't get any active players. He's been bugging me to come on the show for weeks. Like, oh, can I please be on your show? He doesn't sound like that, but hopefully he'll be okay. Everybody's got a breaking point, man. Just let him on.
Who?
Emmanuel Acho.
Welcome back to Fourth and Forever. We have a special guest joining us today in studio. He's been all over your news feeds, all over your screens. A never-ending student of the game, a great friend of mine, a preacher to the people, Emmanuel Acho. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Sanchez, man, the pleasure is mine. The pleasure is mine. I've seen you in Philly and then Chicago and then Dallas, and now look at us.
We go back, bro. Back like a lazy boy. I love it. Okay, so I know you watch this show religiously.
Of course.
Acho's a huge fan of ours. And so last week, I don't need to remind you, but for people who didn't tune in, Anthony Lynn, head coach of the Chargers, he was bashing the name. Came on strong, crushing Fourth and Forever, said, I'd rather call it Second and One, this, that, and the other. So he's a hater. And now we have a new name.
Uh-oh.
And it's called Comfortable Conversations with a Mexican Guy. How does that work? Is that good?
Hey, let's hope this is comfortable. But see, personally, as a defensive guy, I kind of liked Fourth and Forever. Fourth and Forever, it really suits me.
Yeah.
But comfortable conversations with a Mexican guy, that has a nice little ring to it.
Yeah, I don't know where I could have got any influence for that. Okay, so speaking of bad name changes, we got to hit this one just real fast. I played for this team.
Yeah, you did.
The Washington football team. Where are we at with this?
There's one terrible. Here's my thing, Sanchez. How do you have weeks, two of them. Years, yes. Like 2013, Dan Snyder, I think, the owner of the team says, I'm never going to change this name.
Right.
We will be the Redskins for forever. Well, life comes at you fast. But you got 2 weeks, bro, to change the name, and you give me the Washington football team? The lack of creativity that must go through one's head to simply say, okay, we're going to take the noun of Washington, and then we're going to throw in another one of football, and then we're just going to say team.
Dude, go team.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, their merchandise and memorabilia is going to be awesome.
I would have at least thrown in like a color.
Did you see?
It was just, it's like.
Did you see some of these Twitter ones? We didn't know you could do mythological names. The Washington football team executives, after seeing the Seattle Krakens announcement.
Seattle Krakens.
That's pretty good. And then can't wait to see the Washington football team led by their star football player, first name, last name. That was a good one.
Honestly, bro, I saw that and I thought it was a joke. But
I thought it was temporary, like for hey, for like the next week.
Yes,
or
exactly.
something.
So apparently
but when
it
the
is
season
temporary.
starts-
But
Yeah.
temporary, it needed to be like, hey, this is our placeholder for like a day,
Right.
and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Thanks, management.
So apparently, doing a little more research, somebody trademarked all those names.
Super wise man.
Really smart.
But he only trademarked like 18 names.
Yeah.
I saw them. Like one was like the Washington Redskin. One was like Redskin spelled like Radskin. Like it's not as if he trademarked every plausible.
But I think he did like Senators, and he did like.
Dude,
I'm sure he
I'd
could've come up
rather
with
the
something.
Washington Carpets.
Or Warriors.
The Washington
I still
Rugs.
think Warriors.
The Washington Ball Caps.
Ball caps.
Anything.
Washington football.
Anything.
Okay, let's read some of these tweets. Some of these are really, really funny. The NFL has become a Seinfeld joke. It's a team about nothing. Ted Cruz jumping in on the action.
Coming in hot.
Nick, who's got a blue check. What is the mascot for the Washington football team? Princess Wokeness. Solid. How about former player Mark Ripien? Why not change the established date to 2020? He's pissed. Watch. I never played it down for the Washington football team, but I did play with dignity, honor, and pride for the 3-time world champion Washington
He's one
Redskins.
of those. He seems like a get off my lawn guy. I don't even know him, but he seems like. But I did play. Whenever somebody uses words like dignity and honor, you know something like extremely get off my lawn is coming next. Like courage, dignity, and honor.
Damn kids.
Are words that I never want to necessarily hear in congruence because something extremely just unsufferable is gonna come after.
Okay, so let's go into our history. Teammates on the Eagles. Sam Acho, my favorite Acho.
I knew that was coming.
His brother.
I knew that was coming. The laziest jokes. I feel like by 2020, you should have some new material.
Oh, here
You would have gotten booed off stage if this was
Here
stand
we
up.
go. I've never been booed. Let's see. So talk about Philly. Our first time we met. I like asking people first impressions.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I love that you've never asked me this, and it's funny. I'm not gonna get all sappy and all this other BS. But I always tell people, like Sanchez is one of the best guys I know. But here's why. Because at the surface, you have every reason to be just a prick. You do. You have every reason just to be a dude that's just a total diva. But I remember 2015.
See, I told you. Looking at the producer, like, I'm not a diva.
2015, it was the Eagles had brought me back. I'd broken my thumb. I was with the team in 2013, 2014. 2015, I broke my thumb. They released me. They signed me right back. And this was the second year you and I had been teammates. I get released the day before the Thanksgiving game. We're supposed to play the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving. Me and you had already made plans to go to Cali to spend Thanksgiving at your house with your people. We'd known each other for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I get released, but you're still like, nah, bro, just like go a couple days early. I'll see you after the Thanksgiving game. We'll go out there. We'll kick it. And I think that was when I was really like, this is a real dude.
Oh,
like
thank you.
this is a genuine dude.
That was a lot of Mexicans for Thanksgiving, bro.
The food was banging now. But no, I think Philly was great. I love my time in Philly. The people were great. More importantly, like the teammates, the friendships, Nick Foles, you, Zach Ertz, Malcolm Jenkins, Brandon Graham. The friendships were really genuine. So I didn't play long in the league, but I played long enough for me to take something from it.
That's awesome. Then, I can't get away from you. I go to ESPN. You've now worked your way up the ranks. Now you're at Fox, but started on the Longhorn Network.
Yeah, man.
Dude, make a huge jump. Then you kick ass on Get Up. You're ESPN2, college, and I show up. And now you're the old guy on the block helping me along. My first impression of TV Acho, if we can go through some of these selfies, because these are my favorite. But I just remember the gals. Yes, let's go. Because I know where a lot of these were taken as we move on, not the ones at stadiums. I know where that was.
Yes, second floor, Bristol, Connecticut.
There's the mirror with all those lights on it, and so Ach hits that full blast, knows it's by the window, opens the shade. He's got natural lighting, artificial lighting, bam. Always has the hands.
Always.
Is there something going on? Is he tying something?
Am
is
I
he
holding
adjusting?
something?
Is he thinking? Who knows?
Wait, let me interject, because what y'all don't see here in several of these photos.
Explain yourself.
I have to set an auto timer, right? I don't have a photographer and I don't trust people, so I set an auto timer. But the problem is, on the auto timer, you can see the countdown. And Sanchez would always be in the room when I set my auto timer, and the dude would poke his head in right over my freaking shoulder, interrupting my quality pictures. And so the pictures that y'all see
So many
are the
times.
second, third, or fourth take. That's why some of the pictures are serious.
Are you unbuttoning
No, I'm a
or
little-
buttoning? Who knows?
I'm holding.
That's it. That's the one.
that
I
is-
definitely photobombed that one.
That is definitely the signature
Oh, here we
pose.
go.
Yeah, we
Ooh.
changing the looks up. We changing the
Ooh.
looks up. What can I say? I try to be a fashionista, Sanchez. I try to be.
Who's your tailor? Give them
Man,
some love.
I
Go
got
ahead.
my tailor in Austin is Soto & Co. He does all my suits for me.
What is OOTD?
Outfit of the day? You're old, Sanchez. You're
sorry.
old. Yep. Yeah, you should know that.
That's a real question.
So my tailor in Austin, and then my guy out here, Apuje, he's neo stylist, Apuje Nigerian
Ooh.
dude. I try to show love when I can show love to my brothers. Here's the trick though, Sanchez. What I learned about TV is this. If you look good, then you can sound dumber. And so if my content
So you're
is
still working on the look good part.
Right. First off, no. If my content is ever suspect, okay, I'm just like, at least my suit is fresh. You feel me? That's the trick.
So like when you're on at the gym and I'm running on the treadmill, I can't hear you, but you look good.
Bruh, I was told at broadcast boot camp, and it stuck with me to this day. This is a trick for being on TV. This is the biggest trick. If I'm watching you on mute, do you make me want to unmute you?
Who said that? Jerry Madelon?
No, that might have been GMAT talking about Trent Dilfer.
Okay.
It might have Trent Dilfer, I think, was the example, obviously former NFL quarterback. But if I'm watching you on mute, do you make me want to unmute you? So I do everything now with that in mind.
Dang.
Yeah, it's deep.
There's a lot of depth to this guy. Okay. Then you moved to LA. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to SoCal, West Coast, Best Coast. And now you're on Fox. Speak for yourself.
Yeah, man.
Talk about that experience. Talk about your co-host. What's up?
Dude, Speak is amazing. Speak for yourself every day, daily show. It's different. When I was at ESPN, I'm working 2 times a week. And so it's like you got to come with the sizzle because you're on twice a week. You got to get your name hot, got to make sure you're known, people know you. But now being with Speak for Yourself, it's an everyday show.
Sure.
And it's kind of like playing ball. Like, you have to bring it each and every day, even when there's no content.
And
Even when
talk about that because it's been months without live sports.
So now you just got to find a way to like make it hot, make it sexy. Like I'm going to find a way to entertain you. But what I try to pride myself in, bro, is okay, I can give you the real. I can have a substantive conversation about real issues.
Sure.
I can give you the straight entertaining and just debate stuff nonsensically.
Right.
So I try to be a master of all things, a jack of all trades, but talking every day is really what it has to elevate your skill set.
Yeah.
Everybody can't do it, man. And I'm learning
more
now.
reps, more reps, yeah.
All the reps. All the reps, bro.
That's cool. Brief background on you. You grew up in Texas. I know Nigerian bloodline. Your parents from Nigeria. Dad's a pastor.
Yep.
You grew up in the church, and part of that ministry was your missionary work.
Yeah, man.
I've seen pictures of it. I've heard about it through you and your brother. Also spent a Thanksgiving with your brother.
More than likely, y'all were in Chicago, 2017.
We went to Children's Hospital in Chicago.
Chalk.
And then that was Philly. What is it called? Chalk, Children's Hospital, Chicago.
I mean, that makes sense.
It was a children's hospital. That's all I know.
Yeah, I could.
But there's Children's Hospital, Orange County, so I don't know. But it was a children's hospital, and I was with Sam. We wear our jerseys. We're in there on Thanksgiving, and then we went to eat downtown at Maple and Ash or something like that. But it was an awesome experience, and I could see. I mean, you guys are so different, but so similar. Like I can see the background. I can see. And it's not really like a religious thing. It's more of this relationship that you have with God. And it just permeates through you, the way you interact with people, and you and your brother are the same way. So this missionary stuff, it obviously comes natural. You learned it at a young age. But talk about what that's meant to you. And are you doing a trip this year or not because of this?
The only two times we haven't done I personally haven't done a trip in the last decade, COVID and the Ebola virus. The Ebola virus of maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
Sure. And where is it that you go for people?
We go to Nigeria. Okay. We go to a rural village in Nigeria. Isukwata is where my dad was born. Nice. Don't try to say it. Don't try to spell it. Just take my word for it. So the biggest thing, I'll say this, the biggest thing for Emmanuel Acho's success or lack thereof, but for now I'll say success, is going to Nigeria every summer. Because what going to Nigeria every summer did for me, Sanchez, is it taught me that I'm no more special than anybody else. It taught me humility. And to a degree, it taught me about my own privilege. We're all privileged.
Of course.
Depends on who you look at and depends on who you compare yourself to. I go to Nigeria and I see 20-year-old kids that are 5'5", 140 pounds because they were malnourished. And so I realized, and mind you, when we go back, we go to the village. I mean, think middle of nowhere, sand roads. My dad just the hottest. My dad just built a house there. Like you don't got Wi-Fi. I mean, like you just see chickens and cows and goats, and you gotta kill them and eat them. Like, we're in the village with 40 doctors and nurses,
no refrigerator,
Americans.
no microwave.
Well, in our house we have that.
Yeah.
But as you drive past some of the huts, and I really mean huts, like the stuff you see on TV, as you drive by some of the huts made of straw and made of clay and made of bamboo, they don't have none of that. But it shows you that you can live with the simpler things.
Of course.
And so when I think about going back to Nigeria, best thing that's ever happened to me, because it reminds me that like this stuff in America and all these first world luxuries, they're amazing, but they don't sustain you. Sure. Nigerians are some of the happiest people in the world, and they have some of the least. But it's because they've realized the secret to life is learning how to live with little.
Yeah.
Bro, like more money, more problems. That genuinely is true.
Yeah.
And more money, more stress, I'll say. I won't necessarily say more money, more problems, but I'll say more money, more stress. And so do that every summer, and that's really shaped me. That's made me.
And it grounds you, it seems like.
All day, bro. All day.
Gives
like
you good perspective.
Yeah, like I come out here with the suits and all the other stuff, but you know me, people that know me, there's more to life.
And that's part of you being on TV. You're an entertainer. If you're a pro wrestler or football player, you entertain people. So, okay. Then you go to UT. Was UT your dream school growing up, or not really?
I wanted to go to Michigan.
Really?
I wanted to play in the big house. Yes, dude, I'm sitting in Mac Brown's office. Mac Brown, College Football Hall of Fame, head coach, phenomenal recruiter. To me, the best head coach in Texas history. And I'm sitting in Mac Brown's office, and I'm sitting next to my dad, my mom, and my brother. And Mac sits across from me in the leather chair with the Longhorn steer behind him, and he looks me in the eyes. He says, "Emmanuel, we want to offer you a scholarship, University of Texas." And I look at him, and it's crickets. I just don't say anything because I didn't want to go to Texas. Like my brother had gone to.
Did your family know?
No. My family wanted me to go.
Right?
My brother had gone. He's at Texas. My brother's 1 year older. So he's a freshman at Texas at the time. My parents were in Dallas.
They didn't think it was a slam dunk?
Everybody thought it was a slam dunk. But my problem is my junior year in high school, playing basketball with my brother, we played a crosstown rival. And anytime I got the ball dribbling on the floor, doom, doom, doom. All you'd hear in the stands, shadow, shadow, shadow. And every time I got the ball, they would chant that as if I were living in my brother's shadow. So I was like, nah, I can't do this anymore.
So that affected your college?
No, that complete. So I wanted to go to Michigan and play in the big house, bro.
18-year-old. Okay.
So get this. We're back in Mac Brown's office, and he looks at me. I'm going to offer you a scholarship to University of Texas. And I say nothing. He says, after about 20 seconds, he says, well, clearly you're not ready to commit. Take some time, think about it. Man, the drive back from Austin to Dallas was the longest drive with my dad of all time.
Was he pissed?
You can only be so mad because, like, you can't force me to go, but it was just silence.
Did you trip anywhere else?
No, where did I go? I think I went to, like, Oklahoma State. They had dope jerseys. I wanted to go to Auburn because of the jerseys. Did you?
Oh, my God.
Bruh. I mean, Texas is lit. It was great.
Such cool jerseys. They have the pretty girls showing you around.
They have the history. Like they did. They have the Texas Angels.
I was like, whoa.
Well,
I'm coming here.
But no, that was the story of going to Texas. I didn't always want to, but after my brother did and I wised up, I said, you know what? I'll make this move.
Mac Brown said, we have a baby colt that's about to be born. You come here, we'll name it Sanchez. Now it's like,
did you take any visits anywhere else?
Yeah, I went to Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame, UCLA.
But you're from here, born and raised.
Yeah, but I'm from here.
So you were always going to go to SC.
It was kind of like they were the one, and somebody had to knock them off.
Got you.
But
Got you.
I mean, I told my dad, dead serious, like, I'm going to Texas. And he goes, why? They have the coolest jerseys, and I'm going to get a horse named Sanchez. It's like
Now-
Mac Brown said it, and he goes, well, what are you going to do with the horse? Ride it to class? And I was like, I didn't really think about that. Maybe. I don't know how to ride a horse,
Now,
but I'll
Vince
figure it
Young
out.
is older than you, right?
Yeah, it was the year that Colt came in. So my dad's like, hold on. You're going to go there in the same class as another quarterback named Colt McCoy.
Built for Texas.
Yes, he's
Colt
like-
is just.
And you're some Mexican kid from Southern California? He goes, you're crazy. You ain't going there. I was like, all right.
Well,
you're
it
proud.
worked out for both of y'all.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And we became teammates. You talked a little bit about your football career and your transition, but you went Cleveland, Philly, Giants, back to Philly.
Yeah.
And then you do Longhorn Network. Obviously, your connection to UT started that, but did you know TV was going to be it, or did you?
Dude.
Was it like a shot in the dark? Like, hey, I'll try this, and then
It's easier to get a job while you have a job. Kind of
Yeah,
like
no
they
doubt.
say, it's easier to get a girl while you have a girl. I don't know why. That's I don't know. Not from personal
I don't
experience.
know what he means by that. I love
just-
you, babe.
That's just what they say. So when I go back to Philly, like I told you, with my broken thumb, I'm like, man, in the NFL, after 4 years, you're vested pension annuity. You got
Yeah,
the benefits.
you're good.
So I hit the 4-year mark, and I was thinking, I need to leave the game before the game leaves me.
Sure.
So I'm texting the producer at Longhorn Network during the season, like, hey, I'd love to do some stuff in the off season. Let me call the spring game. Let me do work pro day. I go.
So you're reaching out. You're
reaching out.
proactive.
Proactive.
Nice.
You have to be. So I hit her up. As soon as the season ends, I do pro day. I do the spring game. She finally offers me. She offers me a full-time job. But here's the problem. I was like, am I ready to be done? We all have that. We
Scary.
all have the itch.
It's scary.
It's the
Yeah.
scariest. There's a salary difference. There's
Yeah.
a lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's different. And so I said I would only play for 3 teams. The Bears, because my brother was there. The Dallas Cowboys, because I'm born in Dallas. Or I'd go back to the Eagles. Those are the only 3 places I would play. I get a call, Sanchez. I get a call August 3rd. Hey, Emmanuel, we want to come. We want to bring you out to Oxnard to work out for the Cowboys. I was like, crap.
Stop.
I was like, man, I wasn't excited. I was sick because I didn't really want to play.
Yeah. Okay.
I would have, but I didn't
get
want
it.
to.
I get
so
it.
I go out to Oxnard and I see this former Cowboy legend, and he's hobbling, and everybody's like, "What's up, stud? What's up, stud?" I'm not gonna say his name, but everybody, "What's up, stud? What's up, stud?" 55-year-old dude. And I was like, I don't want that for me.
Sure.
Like, I don't want to be esteemed as a legend, but like, I can't live like a happy, healthy life. So the next week, Friday night, 11:50 p.m., I get a text from the Buffalo Bills. Still have this text saved in my phone. True story. I genuinely still have the text. August of 2016, I get a text from the Bills. Emmanuel Acho, this is so-and-so from the Buffalo Bills. What's your driver's license and name on your ID? We want to bring you out for a flight. I don't respond. I call my agent. I say, man, I don't think I want to do it. I get a text again from the Buffalo Bills. Hey, man, just checking to make sure you got this. I don't respond. And I was done. Because
Really?
it's easier. Now for me, it's a psychological thing, Sanchez. I walked away from the game.
Yeah, I
the
get
game
it.
didn't walk away from me.
I get it.
And so I never had the itch to go back because I will forever leave knowing they wanted me, at least in my mind. And it might have been the Bills.
That's fair.
But in my mind,
That's
they
fair.
wanted me and I left them unread.
That's your reality. I like it. So let's talk about your series, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, which has been so well received, and for good reason. They are very uncomfortable questions, and watching the series, I was like, oh my God, what are they going to say? Like, I promise. I was like, oh, no way. Or bringing in, mixed kids. That one hit home, and we'll talk about that because you met my son DJ for 4th of July. But where did it start? Obviously, it's in the wake of George Floyd and all that, but how did you come up with this? Was this in your back pocket and you knew about it, or you just needed the platform? Explain how this started.
Man, after the tragic murder of George Floyd, Black people across the nation were distraught.
Yep.
We didn't know how to feel. And I hate generally speaking for a large group of people, but I'm a generally speak because every Black person that I know, met, talked to, we're all in the same boat.
Sure.
Like, we just were walking around this earth like zombies, like just seemingly like dead to our own emotions.
Sure.
And, we kind of have this phrase, at least I know this phrase growing up in Black church, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
And so I said, I got to do something, man. I felt guilty because I'm a sports analyst. So as a sports analyst, don't nobody want to hear me talk about real life. Talk to me about these sports, bro. Talk to me about these Cowboys,
Yeah,
Dak
exactly.
Prescott.
Exactly.
But I'm a Black man first. And before that, I'm a human being.
Sure.
And so I said, I have to say something. It was going to be called Questions White People Have. It was not going to be called Uncomfortable Conversations with a White Black
Have
Man.
you told anybody that yet?
No, not really.
Breaking news here on Fourth and Forever.
It was going to be called Questions White People Have. And I'd reached out to my dog, Marcus Spears, ESPN analyst.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Great guy. I reached out to my girl, Rachel Lindsay, the first black bachelorette, and reached out to a couple white friends. And I said, hey, let's sit at a round table, and my white friends, y'all ask the questions, and we as the black people answer. Problem is, it's in the middle of Corona. It's in the middle of COVID.
Oh, yeah,
Nobody
yeah,
can
yeah.
travel. Okay. So Rachel Lindsay's like, hey, dude, it'll get me a week, take me a week to get to Dallas. I live in Austin, so I'd have to travel to Dallas where Spears is, Marcus Spears is. And so finally I said, man, I can't wait. I'll do it myself. And so a dear white friend of mine drove in from Dallas to Austin, and on the way in, she's like, hey, these questions aren't just necessarily from white people. I think it's just more uncomfortable. Like, how do you feel about calling it Uncomfortable Conversations?
Yeah.
I thought about it. I said,
Just from non-blacks. Even as a Mexican guy, I don't.
And so I thought about it. I was like, it doesn't have the same stick to it. I said, I'm a black man. So I'll call it Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. So she comes to Austin, Texas from Dallas. We rehearsed the whole day. Remember, it's Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, not Uncomfortable Monologue with a Black Man. But the first episode was a monologue.
Oh,
so
right.
after a day of rehearsing, we're an hour and 6 minutes before our studio time the next day on Sunday. And she had a change of heart, man. Just had a change of heart and didn't feel right about doing it after we were rehearsed. So I said, you know what?
She was going to be in the show?
She was going to be in it. She was going to ask me the questions I was going to answer. Uncomfortable Conversations. It was always supposed to be a conversation.
And she bailed.
Change of heart. And so that's why I did it myself. I never wanted to do it myself. Even after she changed.
Dude, it looks like it was totally planned that way with the perfectly plain background and boom.
Now that I knew. I wanted to have the plain all white background.
No, but I mean, but just you by yourself.
It was never supposed to be me by myself.
Wow.
So now I go into the studio and I look at the cameras as I'm addressing this one, and I put my head down and I say 3, 2, and on 1 I look up and look dead into the heart of the camera. And 9 minutes 27 seconds later, we were done. No teleprompter,
Dude, there was
no cuts.
gold in the can. Are you kidding me? It was awesome.
And it was cool, man. Within 3 days, 28 million views. And then the cool thing, bro, is I haven't really reached out to people. So I get a call a week later, no caller ID number. And I'm sure you know. You get a call from a no caller ID number, it's either really good or really bad. There is no in between.
So true.
So I pick up, and all I hear is, Acho, McConaughey speaking. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, I want to have a conversation. I was like, okay, well, I'm taping in 3 days. I'm taping episode 2. I'd love to have you then. He's like, how's tomorrow? Tomorrow works. Tomorrow works. We can do tomorrow. So we tape episode 2 literally the next day. And then after that episode drops, Chip and Joanna Gaines, they had posted my first one.
Oh, wow.
But
you didn't know them before this?
I had no idea, dude. I didn't really
Did you know who they were?
Before. Yes, because I had seen them on College Game Day.
Oh, yeah.
But I never actually watched their show.
Baylor, right?
Baylor people. And mind you, it's coronavirus, so you can't really travel. They're in Waco, an hour and a half from Austin.
Yeah.
So I shoot up to Waco. We set it up. We shoot episode 3.
It was awesome with their kids,
dude.
Too.
It was so. Let me praise them really quickly. Chip Gaines was like, yes, I'll do it, but I have one request. I said, talk to me, anything. He said, I want my kids involved.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He said that on the show.
So Chip brought the kids. I didn't even request them. He said it's mandatory that they be there. I said, say less,
Just from an aesthetic standpoint, it portrays that you are teaching a younger generation. Like you're educating people that will have to make these decisions later on whether to hate or to love someone. And
it's about the future.
It was so powerful.
It is about the future. And we didn't even roll all the footage because it's a social media show, and so I have to keep things tight. But it was powerful. Then come to LA, episode 4. At this point in time, I've done a show with Gayle King. Yeah. Gayle King, obviously Oprah's best friend.
Yeah.
And Gayle calls me after the show, and she's like, Emmanuel, you were fabulous. You were fabulous. Thanks so much. She was like, you want to know how I heard about your episode? I said, how? She said, Oprah showed it to me. I said, huh? Oprah
Winfrey?
Like, Oprah. And she's like, yeah, Oprah showed it to me. I said, wow. Well then. Before you know it, within 3 or 4 days, I'm on FaceTime with Oprah.
I thought you would have been like, yeah, no, I sent it to her. I texted her.
We hopped on a call, man, and the rest is history, dude. So then she partnered and she helped me.
Because that was my next question. Just where are you going with the series in the future?
Man.
What's the vision for
so
it?
I don't like getting overly spiritual, although I am a man of faith, a man that fears the Lord. But I'm going where God takes me with it.
Yeah.
The whole thing's been a God thing.
Yeah.
The first episode wasn't supposed to be by myself. It was supposed to be with the female. After the female changed of heart, I called another one of my best friends, a white female. Her 1-year-old daughter was sick, so she couldn't do it. So then I had to do it by myself.
Yeah.
After that, McConaughey calls me. After that, Chip and Joanna Gaines reach out. After that, I'm supposed to be in Fox for another show, but then I get relocated to LA for another show because of a schedule change. So now I'm in LA. I do episode 4 by myself. Episode 5, Lindsey Vonn and PK. Lindsey Vonn, interracial couples. Lindsey Vonn, Olympic gold medalist skier. PK, Olympic medalist as well. Star defenseman in the NHL. So now I do that.
Did he play for Philly? No.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I don't quote me on that. And so everything's come to me organically. So where am I going with it?
But you got the book.
Have the book. The book, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. The book coming out November 10th. You can pre-order it on uncomfortableconvos.com.
Yeah.
Uncomfortableconvos.com. And it's not going to be a transcription of the shows. So many people are like, Acho, is it just going to be the shows?
I was just going to ask
No,
you that.
not at all. Completely different. Completely different. I'm going to get in depth. I'm going to talk bigger picture. The spoken word, Sanchez, and I heard a pastor say this, the spoken word, it has substance, it has sizzle. But the written word, it travels throughout the test of time. Whether you want to look at old religious texts, biblical texts, speeches, Gettysburg Addresses, I Have a Dream speech, etc. The written word stands the test of time. And so I want to turn it into a book. But honestly, dude, the response has been great. Like, and the stars have supported. Like Jennifer Aniston, she had shared it, and we exchanged some messages. Reese Witherspoon, she supported.
Nice.
Ben Stiller,
Keep dropping
but
them.
it's not.
Kidding.
And I don't say that.
No,
I say that to say like people who have no reason to necessarily care.
Right.
Like
No
people
doubt.
who really don't
Their
have
lives are fine.
Their lives are
It's
fine.
unaffected
Jennifer Aniston's
by
life
this
is fine.
series,
Their life is fine. But the fact that they hit me up just to say like, hey, I support you. Like Jennifer Aniston following me. I didn't even realize it. My friend told me, hey, you know she's following you? I was like, what the hell? Checked her Instagram. I was like, oh, snap.
So you
Follow
creeped
back.
on her Instagram. Say it. You creeped on Jennifer.
First off, I didn't. But nah, bro, like I say that to say the fact that people who were sitting on high have looked and said, you know what? I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're helping change this world and
They've
change
recognized
our
it.
world.
Yeah.
It's been great, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, the one issue that I saw in that was now that I'm raising this multiracial son who he looks black.
Yeah.
Like you've seen him. He's got tight curls, like he looks black. When people talk about, well, let's start with I was raised I'm assuming similar to you with the father as the authority figure. It was yes sir, no sir. You just do what you're told and there's no, questioning authority. I was never scared of being pulled over by the cops and thinking I was in a life or death situation. It was, do I have my license on me? Did I run a stop sign or a red light? What did I do wrong? Yes, sir, Mr. Officer, and go along with your life. My son, who looks a lot different than I do, do I need to have that conversation with him? I mean, I've talked to Malcolm Jenkins about this.
Yeah.
What is that conversation like if you've had it? What are you supposed to say? And like, what did they say? What did your parents say to you and your brother? I don't even know what this is like our version of your show. Sorry for hijacking the idea for 10 minutes here, but what does that look like?
Yeah, I think that everyone needs to have these conversations with their children because knowledge is power. When I say these conversations, in America, we teach our kids about finances. We teach our kids about religion. We teach our kids about sex. But for whatever reason, we don't teach our kids about race. We just kind of act as if race doesn't exist or as if like we don't see color, which is ignorant because then you can't see the beauty of all colors. So I do think conversations need to be had. And obviously, as you've talked about, like having one with your son and just letting him know, hey, look, based on the color of your skin, you will be treated very differently.
Sure.
My parents, they never had the conversation with me because I'm first generation American.
Right.
So my parents came here and didn't realize like the history, so to speak, of America.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
You feel me? My parents coming from Nigeria, and Nigeria, everybody black. So like, you don't really have to talk about how you may be treated by white people because there are no white people.
Yeah.
And even the reason, Sanchez, I've started uncomfortable conversations, and I don't think I've said this publicly, but when you speak 2 languages, right? You're bilingual.
Sure.
And your parents, they taught you how to speak the language.
A little bit. I learned a lot of it on my own. But yeah.
How'd you learn it on your own?
Through these tapes called Michelle Thomas Method.
Great. So I took 8 years of Spanish, right? Can't really speak a lick. But what I do know about those that take foreign languages is they have to study abroad to get fluent.
Yeah,
they
that was
typically
the
have to
hugest
study
thing,
abroad.
the immersion. Yeah,
exactly. You have to be immersed in it.
Yeah.
And what I realized, Sanchez, as a Nigerian American, I studied abroad amongst white people because I went to a private school from 5th grade to 12th grade that was all affluent white, primarily. And then I went to college at Texas and played in the league. So I studied abroad amongst black culture.
Yeah.
And so I became perfectly fluent in white culture and black culture. So to bring this whole thing full circle, I realized there's a major gaping disconnect between black people and white people. And it's a lot has to do with speech and understanding, not literal speech, but things that are translated into how you are interpreting an action.
Yeah.
And so me being fluent in both, I said, you know what? I can talk to these people and talk to these people and relay a message.
So then you're talking about your experiences in a white culture in a predominantly black or minority locker room. So my dad grows up, I'm full Mexican. My dad grows up in just, 4 or 5 blocks from USC. So like South Central, right? My mom, East LA, like super Mexican, where she grew up in a Mexican upbringing. My dad went to Emmanuel Arts High School. I grew up in South Orange County, predominantly white. And he made it a point for when we played travel ball to make sure we played in LA, in Long Beach, in inner city settings to compete against other people who look different than you. That was like so important to him. Why is the locker room? Because of sports. How does sports bridge that gap? Because I feel like there's all these issues on the outside, but as soon as you get in the locker room, it's like, we're cool.
So sports, I can't stand when sports draw military parallels. We're going to war. We got to go kill these guys. You're in the bunker with this. No, okay, you're not. We're not going to war. But what is synonymous between both sports and wars, you're fighting an opponent.
Sure.
And you were on a similar team aiming for a common goal.
Right.
And the difference between sports and life, in sports, we're all on the same team. Within our locker room. And so we look beyond our racial differences or our other differences because it is us versus them.
Sure.
In life, the us is white people and the us is black people and the us are Asian people and the us are everybody, all types of people. So it is still us versus them. But your team
you don't blend the us.
is different. And so the reason that sports are different is because we're all on the same team. We all wear the same jersey. Sure, the name on the back is different, but we all wear the same jersey.
And you're working towards something.
As soon as you get into real life, your jersey is your skin color. And so me and black people, we still wear the same jersey. And white people, they still wear the same jersey, but it's not Eagles green no more. It's not midnight green. Now it's your skin color. And so we have to find a way as a society, as a nation, to remove those jerseys.
Yeah,
and
put on the same jersey. Get on the same team. Dang. Then what about, I think that's the way we make that a norm in the society. I think you said it perfectly. Charles Barkley, when he was talking about everything's turning into a circus now with, names on the back of jerseys. And do you agree with that statement or not necessarily? Like, where do you stand on some of that stuff?
You can agree with that statement to a degree. It would take so much time to elaborate, but quickly I'll say, when you do stuff just to check boxes, then it becomes very circus-like.
Right.
When you're doing stuff just to do stuff, it can become very like, come on, bro. Because I think about it like this.
If you're doing it for the Instagram picture, if you're doing it for the...
Let's go, you brought up Instagram, so let's go there. Let's go a month back. We have Blackout Tuesday. To shine awareness. But you have, Instagram models, so to speak, posting their bikini pictures, then they black picture, then they bikini pictures. You feel me? Like, you got me posting my little picture, and then my black picture, and then my little picture again. So, like, what did that really do?
Right.
Like, it's not just about checking a box to say you did something, but making practical change. And I think the leagues, NBA, MLB, NHL, whatever the case may be, we have to be very cognizant of just doing stuff to do it and look like we're doing it. as opposed to actually trying to make change. So when Chuck is talking, I think about turning into a circus is all the actions with no substance.
Sure.
We need more follow through.
Yeah, I like that. The perfect example to me is somebody like Malcolm Jenkins, where he's not the guy who takes a knee just to take a knee and take a picture and boom. Like he's meeting with local legislature. He's informing people of when to vote, how to register. He's, he has a strong stance and he's informing people. He's educated himself.
Because bro, we can't just do it for the gram, bro. One of the things that made me feel so interesting was during all the marches, I'm like, I'm seeing so many selfies about being at these marches, but it just made me feel a little different. Yeah. Because like when I was going back and I was researching the marches in the 1960s and et cetera, and obviously there weren't the camera phones out there, but like MLK went out here taking selfies. You feel me? Like he wasn't out here like, okay, I got my.
There was a cause. He was working towards it.
And so I want to make sure our society is as passionate about the action and the change as they are looking like they're doing something.
Damn.
Because that's what we got to do.
That's true. Circling back to another one, I talked with Coach Lynn about this. Do you think Cap gets signed this year?
No.
Really? He said he'd work him out.
Cap won't get signed, but it's not that I don't want to get Cap. I don't want Cap to get signed. It's not that I don't think Cap is talented enough to play in the NFL, because there are several quarterbacks and several backup quarterbacks that I think Cap is still more talented than. But we have to look at things without bias, right? And I'm a black man who would bring me no greater joy than to see Cap get signed, if nothing else but for my bias.
Sure.
But what I realize is if you're a general manager, Sanchez, and you sign Cap, and then you have to go cut him, whether it's performance-based or backlash-based, now you become the villain. Right now,
you just put yourself in a tough spot.
For no reason. Right now, the 49ers are the villain. Right now, the 49ers, they have to bear that burden. The last team Cap ever played for was the Niners. All the Cap jerseys, they're Niners. The 49ers are the villain. But now, if you're an organization, if you sign Cap just to have to go cut him, even if it's talent-based, performance-based, now you become the villain. So you have to look selfishly as a GM of a team or an owner of a team or a coach of a team. Is it worth it? Because best case scenario for Cap is he comes in, he takes over as a starter, and he balls out.
And then he gets a contract.
But for that to happen, the starter has to get hurt.
Right.
And so what general manager is like, okay, well, let's, hopefully our starter gets hurt so Cap can come in here and... It's just not realistic. And I'm just too realistic. So while I want Cap to be in the league, it just doesn't make a lot of logical sense based on what owners and managers have already showed us.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, and you might be right. Dang.
It's facts, man.
Okay, so then how big of a role can athletes play and should athletes play in bridging this racial divide?
Two very different questions you just asked me. Two very different questions. I'm not going to say what an athlete should or should not do.
Fair.
I think it was Charles Barkley who said, actually, that athletes, it's not their responsibility to be role models.
Right.
It's not. Athletes are athletes. I would hope that an athlete is a role model.
To,
I would want them to be. And I fervently believe that to whom much is given, much is required.
Sure.
But it's not their responsibility. How much of a difference can they make? All of it. All of it. I mean, look at what Cap did. For better or worse, he got the whole world talking.
Yeah. Do you think he knew back then?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no way.
Because it seemed like, and I remember having this conversation, and I was in Chicago, and guys in the locker room were like, "Are we going to kneel? Are we not going to kneel?"
Yeah.
Well, what does kneeling mean?
The reason
and then people had different responses. Well, some people kneel because they don't like the president. Some people kneel because of police brutality. It wasn't like a uniform thing. But then if you don't kneel, it's like, well, then you're down with systemic racism.
Correct.
You don't like black people. So
that's the problem that's going to happen this year. Now it's if you don't kneel,
then you get
problem.
canceled.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
But to your point, bro, the reason I could wholeheartedly say he didn't know is for a couple reasons. Number one, that'd be like saying, "Hey, did you know that your videos were gonna blow up and next you'd write a book?"
You knew that. I texted him the night before and told him.
But you just don't know. But two, if Cap knew, he wouldn't have made some of the pivotal errors that he did.
Like
the pig socks. Right? Like wearing the pig socks to practice that day made so many people jump off the bandwagon.
Yeah.
And not that Cap
I didn't even think
because
about
it gave people an excuse not to listen.
Sure.
And if you ever give people an excuse not to listen that don't want to listen, they will write you off.
Of course.
Like the pick socks was the one thing that if Cap really knew, because that was early on.
Yeah.
If he knew, he wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Because now you're giving people an out.
And giving people ammo.
Giving them ammo. And, bruh, a lot of people are just waiting for the out. They're just like, please give me a... People right now watching my uncomfortable conversations, give me a reason to stop listening to you, Acho. Just say one wrong stat or one wrong fact, and I am out.
To that point, what have been... You have to have received criticism. You're not successful without criticism. So give me... You don't have to say who, but some of the most hurtful, rude, racist... Somebody sent you something bad.
Honestly... A lot of the backlash for me has come from the black community.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
The black community want me to go harder, right? The black community is, you're taking it too easy on white people. You need to go harder at these white people. They're not our friends. A lot of the backlashes come from the black community or undermining my assistance because my parents are Nigerian. And so I'm not the descendants of slaves and this, that, and the third. And I don't know, like at the end of the day, I'm fighting, figuratively speaking, for those same people because my black brothers and sisters are hurt. A lot of us are hurt. And so anger doesn't know how to express itself.
Sure.
And so I'm not really mad when I get the backlash. I just know that I'm out here fighting a good fight. And by the grace of God, it's working.
And you have pure intentions. You really are trying to educate and help people.
Between the book, Uncomfortable Conversations, and my show, not for me. Like my show's for me. But Uncomfortable Conversations in the book, like, bro, I'm just trying to change the world. Like the other, I'm not really. That's not for me, bruh. You feel me? Like that's just cool. Out here, like, that's my calling. That is my commission. My other stuff is my career. You got to go to your career to pay the bills. The calling and the commission, you just live that out.
That's awesome. That was deep and heavy and awesome. The Republican senator of Georgia, did you see this, who co-owns the WNBA team, made a statement about basically Black Lives Matter, the phrase, and Black Lives Matter, the organization, and said there is a distinct difference. Yeah. To somebody who doesn't know or is uneducated, is that true or untrue? Like, what is it? Because I think you should do this on your show, and we could cut this out if you want to do it on your show, or you already filmed that.
No, it's funny you say that. So
because I don't know.
I shot a message this morning. I exchanged messages with one of the three co-founders of
Black Lives
Matter. She's a Nigerian American woman. And,
really?
Yeah. And we exchanged messages this morning because I extended a hand and said, look, I get 3 to 8 million viewers a week, predominantly white people on my show. I just want to give you a platform to clear up some things because there have been so many misconceptions.
Right.
Yesterday,
people don't know what to think.
They don't know what to think. Yesterday, I put on my Instagram, like, hey, I do this show for y'all, so what questions do y'all have?
Yeah.
And one of the first ones was, what's up with Black Lives Matter? Now,
really?
for sure. One of the top 3 questions. My personal answer is this. There's a difference between Black Lives Matter, the noun, and Black Lives Matter, the adjective, right?
Okay.
Black Lives Matter, the noun, the organization.
Okay.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, the adjective, let's just simply describe the fact that Black lives do in fact matter. Black Lives Matter, the adjective, we should all get behind. Black lives do in fact matter. Black Lives Matter, the noun, the organization, everyone has to figure out for themselves, do they stand behind? But what I'll say is this, and these aren't my words, so don't get mad at me. It's funny how, and a white man told me, he said, it's funny how with this specific cause, we will look at some things in the mission statement and just say, I'm done with it all.
They're looking for an excuse not to like it.
I didn't say it. I'm not going to say it.
No, I know.
I'm
It's the same
look,
thing with Kaepernick. It's the same thing
I am going to paint,
with any movement.
I am going to paint a picture and let the viewers interpret it how they may. Nike, just do it. Don't necessarily stand for everything Nike believes in their mission statement, but people still going to wear their Nikes. Chick-fil-A, you don't necessarily stand for their affiliations politically or whatnot, or their mission statement, but you still gonna get that chicken sandwich with that pickle now.
Not on Sunday.
You still gonna, not on Sunday, but that Chick-fil-A sauce still gonna smack now. So it's funny that when you get to race, it's like, wait, I don't like that sentence, so I'm out. We don't do that in other things. We just don't. And again, Black Lives Matter, the adjective, everybody should be able to stand behind. The noun, decide for yourself. I'm still in that deciding for yourself area. But to me, and this is how I'll close this thought, is as long as everybody's fighting in the best way they know how. Yeah. You feel me? Like, I am a speaker, so the way I know how to fight is through communication and comfortable conversations. Black Lives Matter, Y'all do y'all thing. My homie, hip hop artist Toby Nwigwe, who came out with this like "Arrest the Killers of Breonna Taylor" song. LeBron and people posted it. He's doing his thing.
Sure.
We're all trying to fight how we know how. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't stand with Black Lives Matter, then create an organization you stand with to move the cause forward.
Sure.
But don't just sit there and say, I don't stand with them, so I'm not going to do nothing.
Right. Okay, that's fair. All right, 4 down territory. Last thing, we'll break down the NFC East. We hit every team in the NFC East. The only one I missed was the Giants, but you covered that for us. So, what happens in the division?
Yep.
Giants, Eagles, Washington football team, and the Cowboys.
Dude, that's going to be so
I have
awkward
my
to
thoughts.
say.
I think it's Eagles and Cowboys kind of running it.
Yeah.
And my reasoning would be Haskins and Daniel Jones desperately needed this offseason, and they don't get it. First thing, they have new offenses, new head coaches. They needed to assert themselves as the leader for everybody to rally around those guys. And now this is their first year starting from week 1. And they kind of missed that boat. So I feel like from a sheer experience standpoint, the Eagles and Cowboys wipe them off the map.
Yeah, I think it's obviously on paper should be the Eagles and Cowboys, right? As an analyst, I would be an idiot if I didn't say one of those two teams, right? Like, just remove the emotion. Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins, new coaches. The Giants head coach, I still got to see it to believe it. Although I respect special teams, that's where I made my mark in the NFL. Ron Rivera, phenomenal coach, but
got a lot going on right now.
A lot of distractions. They don't even have a name. Okay, like the Washington football team is not here to stay. So now when you look at the Cowboys and you look at the Eagles, on paper, Cowboys probably have a better roster.
You would think.
Especially offensively. Goodness gracious.
They got firepower.
Between CeeDee Lamb, stud receiver in college, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, plus Dak, plus Zeke, plus that offensive line. On paper, the Cowboys should do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you and I know the Eagles, I think, just have a better coach and a better culture. I'm not sure how good Mike McCarthy is. Oops, I said it.
Wow.
And I say that because we know Aaron Rodgers was amazing.
Yeah.
When Mike McCarthy left, Aaron Rodgers is still amazing.
Yeah.
The Packers were still bomb this year.
Yeah.
So was it Mike McCarthy or was it Rodgers? Was it both? I don't know. But I don't know how good Mike McCarthy is as a coach. Bruh, what Doug Peterson did is amazing. And you and I know because we were on the Eagles the year before Doug Peterson got there. We were there.
Yeah.
Like, Doug Peterson took...
Howie brought in some ballers, too.
Yes, but Doug Peterson took a roster that wasn't as talented as Chip's roster and won a Super Bowl with it. Because you
2 years later.
Yes, 2 years later, but that's not a super long time. Like,
that's not a long time.
Year gap and a year... Really, I'm going to say a year later. Because it was 2016 was the 6-10 season, I believe, or 7-9, Doug's first year. And then the next year won the Super Bowl.
Did they go 7-9?
Yeah, 6-10 or 7-9, one of the two.
Yeah.
And then next year won the Super Bowl.
And they were
Foles
peaking
still
at
run
the
the Super
right time.
Foles was still the quarterback when they won.
Yeah.
You still had your mainstays of Brandon Graham was still there. Fletcher
Vinny
Cox was
Curry.
still there. Vinny Curry was back. Zach Ertz was still there. You didn't have LaShawn or Macklin or DJ. Like, Doug Peterson, what he did as a coach, unheralded. And this isn't even biased. This is just these are just straight facts. So it's going to be Cowboys. It's going to be Eagles. Cowboys have the better team. Eagles have the better coach. You know how that goes, bro.
Okay.
You know how that goes.
Then, do you think we have a full NFL season in 2020?
Absolutely.
You do?
Yeah,
It's
NFL.
happening. No preseason, but they'll figure it out.
Yeah, you not stopping that. And bro, the NFL owns one day of the week. the NFL owns Sunday. But we better change the calendar. I don't know what the Mayan calendar looked like, but we might have to go back to that joint during the NFL season.
And then last thing, which was awesome, can we show the video of him and my boy? This was on 4th of July, everybody. And Ach was at the house playing piano with my son, and they are just having a ball.
Hey.
Look at DJ trying to teach him.
Yo, DJ got rhythm.
Dude, that's like an intro to like a cop song.
It is.
That's like an intro to like a cop. Can you do Eye of the Tiger for me?
Nailed it.
Yo, DJ.
So cool.
I love it.
You
I
got a little
love it.
baritone for us?
Dude, I have barely any voice. If I had a piano, I'd let it drown me out.
All right, we'll let you off easy here. Give your social handles.
Emmanuel Acho. It's very simple. At Emmanuel
Acho. Our IG's Fourth and Forever. YouTube channel is youtube.com/Fourth and Forever. Thank you so much, bro. Really appreciate this.
My
This is
dog.
awesome. Subscribe, follow, like, comment, Instagram, YouTube.